Welcome to Luhmühlen Lates again. This is our new and quite experimental chat show that we're bringing you here from the Luhmühlen Horse Trials. We want to bring you closer to the stories here over the weekend. So we're just kind of getting this together. It's very live, so bear with us if maybe the guests that we've planned don't turn up. Although at the moment we've got the world number one, Oliver Townend coming, and we've also got Chris Bartle and Dickie Waygood lined up, as well as Lucinda Green and a few more. But we're going to start first of all talking about the cross country, because today's cross country caused plenty of upsets. Mike Etherington Smith's two courses, because of course here at Luhmühlen there's a 4-star, which is the German National Championships, and the 5-star, and they both run over the same weekend. Both courses cause plenty of problems, and it's been pretty dramatic here, to say the least. But we're concentrating on the 5-star on Luhmühlen Lates, and the top 7 is oh so tight, less than 2 penalties dividing first to 7th place, so that's less than a show jump, isn't it? So let's talk now to the person that is occupying the top spot, Felix Vogt, who is our leader after the dressage and cross country. Felix, you did the most beautiful round. What did it feel like riding out there? Because presumably when you went, you knew that there'd been quite a lot of trouble before you.
Yeah, it was really great. I know the horse since long already, and I live in Germany, so even I have some crowds here which are on my side, and the horse was just fabulous. Yeah.
Tell us about Colero.
Colero, I know him since long, like 8 years now, and I know the owner before already really long and really well. He's a tricky horse. He was a bit special at the beginning. We fall off a lot of times, but yeah, now he's on our side, and like today he just gives everything, and it's amazing to ride him. Yeah. Let's
have a look at some of your cross country. We've got a little highlights bit here of you going round. So just talk us through what we're seeing.
Yeah, here it's the first water. I plan to ride one more to the B element, but he jumped hugely in and did one less, and as well out of it again. He did a fabulous job. He came back and made a really nice jump.
The Longines water's tricky because it's fence 4, isn't it?
It's fence 4. You come out of the woods. It's a little bit dark. The first spectators. So yeah, you need a little bit an experienced horse.
What did you think when you saw people like Tom McEwen falling? And I mean, there were several eliminations in the first few riders, weren't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 5-star, yeah, and some of the best riders are here, like Tom. But he had some green horses, I think, and yeah, it was just not his day. It's a really good rider, but yeah, a 5-star like what you see at the beginning, you're not getting as a present.
This is the Mesmer, the second water, which, I mean, was this the most difficult? This caused numerous problems too, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know that. I didn't saw anyone there. I was probably already getting dressed, but he did it amazing, and did as well again, one stride less, both distances. Yeah, he was really positive forward, and yeah, wanted to go.
You've only got 0.1 of a penalty over Tim Price, who's in second place. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, is there? But was that you thinking about that going into the show jumping tomorrow?
There's nothing to do about that, and Ollie is as well really close. So yeah, but everything now is a bonus. I didn't expect that I'm first after cross country. Yeah, so they're both really good riders, and like you said earlier, there's one jumping falls in the top 7. So yeah, I just want to enjoy it now, and hopefully it works.
And what's your show jumping like? His show jumping. Yours is obviously excellent.
No, he's a good jumper. He's really careful. He has all the scope. But yeah, we have to do it together, and every time is a new time. So will be again a challenge.
Have you spoken to Bettina? Because Bettina Hoy, who was a guest here on Luhmühlen Lates yesterday, she does your dressage training. Have you told her?
She's my dressage coach. Yeah, she's supporting really well. We didn't talk yet, but we messaged. Yeah.
Okay, Felix, good luck tomorrow. Yeah, and I hope it goes well for you. And thank you for coming here to talk to us and giving up some of your evening time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we're going to bring in another guest now, because we have Kylie Roddy. Kylie Roddy is having one of the best years that anyone would ever know, really. Come and sit down, Kylie. There's your microphone. Well,
I'm spinning around.
I know it's a little bit
spinning around. What happens when you're Kylie?
It's a bit. It's clearly not the first time she said that. That is not the first time you've used that gag.
It is.
Well, that's genius. You're in the wrong game, girl. Kylie, Ollie, I wanted you to come on because I've never interviewed you, and you're just such the woman of the moment. But also, what a lovely round, and one of quite a few, very few rather, that was inside the time. Just tell us about your round.
Yeah, I think it was a round of mixed things to start with. I was really, obviously everyone says about the time here being very difficult, so I set off with a purpose. And at the first water, I'd say he helped me out. I jumped in and I lost my stirrups, so I jumped the 2 hedges on the angle.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, with no stirrups. I was like, good boy, well done. Got the pedals back and off I went, galloping, head down. And then actually we kind of ended up being really good to each other. So the middle of the round, we're both on the same page. And then at the end, when he got a bit tired, I could help him as much as he helped me at the first water. So I'd say we were all give and take in our little relationship right there. So good boy.
And obviously you came here because you didn't finish badminton, which you must have been, that was your shoe, wasn't it? He pulled a shoe?
Yes, he pulled his right shoe off, and we've had a bit of a headache about the shoes, keeping them on. So we had he pulled a shoe, at badminton he pulled a shoe, and then at Little Downham, our run that we put in to come here, he pulled a hind shoe off. So it's a bit like Cinderella, so I hope that he's found his.
Sorry for your farrier. You must be feeling terrible about all these shoes coming off when it's really important.
Oh, I know. So, but hopefully we've got that under control, and we actually took a few measures this time to make sure the back of the shoe was encased in acrylic so that there was no edges that the horse could catch. So we tried to help him out as much as we could with our part of the management system. So that was good.
But no problems today. You're fifth.
Fifth, I know.
Fifth. Going into the show jumping, and as I've just said, there is less than 2 penalty points between first and seventh, so I mean you could easily win this in your kind of, not your debut 5-star season, but your debut sort of
we've only had one.
months.
We went to Po at the end of last year, and that was my first one. And look, I just want the horse to be as good as, the world to know how good he is, because in my mind, he's the most amazing horse I've ever ridden, and he truly, truly is one of the best ones.
Let's have a little look here. Here we are in the main arena, which also caused quite a few issues. That corner caused a few problems, didn't it? Talk us through this.
So, yeah, and that'd be his nemesis, because he used to have a bit of a history of left-hand corners being a bit of a naughty moment for him, so it shows how far he's come in his education, which comes with his big horses that are ranging Gallopy.
With my BHS hat on,
yes.
You've just become a fellow. You're
I
one of the
have.
latest fellows. Obviously being a fellow is very difficult, but are you kind of a fellow specialising across country, or are you just an all-round fellow?
I'm just a fellow that want to help people understand horses, I would say, and I want them to understand how horses work, how they read, and I'll help anyone ride their horse better. That's really the sort of fellow I am.
And you somehow fit all of this in with running a livery yard.
Yeah.
Bringing on very young, and I love that on your website it says, I'll do difficult horses, no problem, we can do difficult horses. And obviously you're a full-time eventer, and I know that you teach a lot because you're teaching my pony club kids.
Yes.
So how do you do all this?
I'm not really too sure how we juggle all the balls, but the balls do juggle, and they sort of fit in with each other, so that's what kind of makes it really good. So today I'll take home to the pony club kids next week some of what I've learnt here, and they get a bit of that knowledge, and that's part of what the job's about, right? It's about the younger guys getting those little pearls of wisdom that I can pass on because they're current, and if I'm current, then I can keep their thirst for knowledge thriving.
What will you tell them? What will you be telling the South Oxfordshire Hunt Central?
Yeah, well, I'll be talking to them about making sure that they got this, keeping the line that they should be on, because, when you're young, you don't really understand what the line is, and trying to make sure that they learn that early. Trying to make them understand how they can steer their horse without their reins, because that's a massive part of the cross-country riding. Sometimes you don't have your knitting and you've got to keep the horse on the line. So there'll be all those bits. And just, I'm sure tomorrow when I show jump, I might have some even more bits that I need to pass on to them. But, I think it's good. And when we see the real big guns riding their amazing horses with all their knowledge and expertise, you watch them ride and there's loads that they sort of... I look at and I think, wow, actually, if I could just try and make my bit of riding a bit more like their bit of riding. They're so good with the height they hold their hands, the security of their lower leg. There's all of those bits that I try to improve on, so I'll pass that on to the kids as well.
This is your first Luhmühlen, isn't it?
First Luhmühlen, never been.
And it's quite a big atmosphere here, actually. I mean, obviously you haven't show jumped yet.
Yeah.
But with the dressage as well, with the amazing arena and the hospitality, and there's always quite a lot going on, quite a lot of noise. How have you found that?
No, I found it pretty cool, actually. I am on the horse that would like that, so he could actually have a circus going on next to him, and he would make himself look special rather than lose the plot. So So for me, it's a good thing. I think for other people, they maybe don't like it, but for him, it makes him up his game. So good for me.
Well, he does come from a performing background.
He does.
Of course, because I interviewed his owner at Badminton, one of his owners from the Fox family, Michael, who of course is a Downton Abbey actor, and he brought him on. He did a lot of the leg.
I used to teach him on him.
So what level was he when you took over, Candy?
He was doing 100. So we brought him as a 4-year-old, and we did a bit of the work in the week. But Michael would come and ride when he could. But Michael would go and we'd jump on the truck and we'd take a bunch of babies out, and Michael would be riding George as well. So we did like South of England 100, Burnham Beeches 100, and he did a lot of those initial days, bit of show jumping at Addington in the winter, and it did that horse no harm at all. So
he's not allowed to now, though, is he?
Well, he went for a nice hack after Badminton, had a little gallop with me.
I don't think he's allowed to.
No, I think he was all right then. Yeah, because he wasn't on a job, so that's fine.
But they're just a really nice family, and I mean, he came in especially early. He wasn't. Well, you'd gone home, so he didn't.
Yeah.
'Cause obviously, he didn't. Sorry to remind you, he didn't
No.
make it to the Sunday, and he came in really early. And I just thought that's what the sport needs. Someone that understands that actually. Although it's not about Downton Abbey, it's about you riding.
Yeah.
But he just adds that little bit of sparkle show dust that we kind of need as the media to try and push the sport.
Yeah, and the lovely thing is that although Michael's obviously an amazing actor, they're just really nice people, and it's a really nice family. His mum comes up every week to see the horse, and if we're training, he really is part of the family as well as Michael's horse, which makes it so lovely. They're a magic set of owners, to be honest. I'm very grateful for them, as we all are for all our owners, but they're particularly special to me.
And what next for you? Are you going back in the lorry, or are you flying now that you're so important?
No, definitely not too important. I'll be driving the lorry. I come over with Fiona Cashel, who's had a blinding ride as well today, so that was great that we've had 2 good runs today, and we'll share the driving home, and hopefully that'll be sweet.
Back to Stoke and Church. Hopefully no delays at the port.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been really lovely to finally get to speak to you. And really good luck tomorrow. And what will you be thinking finally when you just go in there for the show jumping? What sort of rider are you in the morning of a big one?
So I'm probably a tiny bit odd, as in everyone wants to leave the poles up, but I'm really one of these people that focus on the plan to leave the poles up. If I focus on the plan and the poles fall down, then that's sometimes hard luck. But actually, if I focus on the plan, normally the plan comes off. So it's about how I put the fences together, not what the fences do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck. We'll be rooting for you, because you could be winning this. We could be speaking to you tomorrow when we do the final show tomorrow. And either way, whatever happens, it's a win, isn't it? You've done amazingly, so well done.
Yeah, he's a winner in my eyes, that horse. What a legend.
Thank you. Right, well, we're going to be moving on to speak to some other people, because Oliver, I think, is around the corner, but we're just trying to see if we can see him. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
And
thank you very much.
Good luck. Okay. Thank you. So we're just here then, just outside the main arena. Kylie Roddy has done a wonderful star turn for us. She's just wandering off. We have Dickie Waygood and Chris Bartle round the corner. I'm looking at Wendy. Now Wendy is looking at me going, but they are here because I've seen them. They were here 15 minutes ago. We just need to bring them in, because it's going to be the Chris and Dickie show. I won't have much to say then. They're just going to kind of sit there. So if you can just bear with us. As I did say, this is a little bit experimental and it's very live. I could have kept Kylie here, but I felt like she needs to go and possibly have some hymns, because she's worked very, very hard. And I know she does have to go, which is why I let her go. So we're just going to sit here and look around and see if there's anyone we can see in the meantime. And I could probably just tell you a little bit more about we could tell you a bit about the 4-star, because the 4-star was just incredibly tight for time. If you go to the Luhmühlen website, you can obviously see all the scores and find out who's done what. But Michael Young, having watched quite a few issues and very few, only I think prior to him one person had gone clear, he absolutely belted round the 4-star track and went inside the time. And I think in the end there were only 3 inside the time. So I said to Mike Etherington Smith afterwards, is that a good thing that you only had 3 inside the time, or was it like show jumping where you want a few kind of clears? And he said no, he'd only really want 1. And Michael Young made it look easy, as he always does on his next superstar horse. Here we have Dirk, who is our German commentator, who's being dragged in to do a turn for us. Dirk, you should maybe do some German, because this is going out in Germany as well. You could actually, if I understood what you were saying, we could do a bit of a German interview. But
you speak German?
No, I don't. I don't. All I say is, Entschuldigung, ich spreche kein Deutsch.
And you know 8?
What does that mean?
8.
Oh yes, and I know numbers, but I have to kind of go through. So when I was in control today, because as I said to you, if anyone watched yesterday's show, all of us here who are doing this have been basically doing the coverage of the cross country. Dirk's been commentating on it. I've been a floor manager amongst other jobs, and one of my jobs is standing in control with a big headset, and so that when there's a hold on course or there's a fall, and there were a few of those today, or something goes on, I'm talking to the ground jury and they're giving me information, and then I'm WhatsApping it to Dirk so that Dirk knows what's going on. It's kind of crazy, but it's been I think this was a good day's cross country, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. After the first two rides, I thought, oops, this will be a interesting day today after the falls, but then it came over and it is better, and then it was a great day. It was a battle in the 5-star. 0.1 in the lead.
Yeah.
And we have in the 4-star a lot of riders which were great, and there was the battle against two men, and
Michael
Young won again this battle, and we have a lot of young girls in Germany which are very interesting. 21 years, the youngest girl we ever had here. Is very good on the 6th or 7th place, I think.
Now, is that Andreas Styboski's daughter?
Yes.
Elina,
yeah.
Yeah, she looked classy, really classy.
Yes, and she was brilliant in the dressage, and she was a big fighter in the cross country. So she lost some seconds, but it was very interesting. So it's also to see the people coming back and all this enthusiasm of the people who come here and love to be with other people who love eventing and watch the sport is just brilliant.
And good to have crowds back this year.
Yes, it was very unusual to hear applause. So if the riders go through it and you see people are watching in some rows behind, standing there and watching all the obstacles and what's going on is just great.
I want to put you on the spot now. Who was your ride of the day? Oh, in the 5-star, because I think it's the route to madness if we go down the 4-star.
Yes.
Just with this particular show.
Felix Fogg, I think.
Was it?
Yes, because I think he did a great job in dressage. He learned a lot. I saw his development. He was at the Olympics, which was good, but yesterday it was brilliant, and today he fought very, very good, and it was like 1 minute to 1 minute to 1 minute to 1 minute, like a Switzerland train, exact on the point, and he did a great job, and in the end it's 0.1 in front. I hope that he can stay there until tomorrow.
But whatever, they can't all go clear, can they? The top 7 are not all going to go clear. And as I said, less than 2 penalty points between the top 7.
Yeah.
It's
yes, Oliver Townend is I've seen him brilliant in jumping, but I've also seen him leaving some seconds on the ground and losing with a big advantage because of time. So I think it could be interesting every time. And Tim Price. Tim
Price is in second place.
Yes,
he's 0.1 behind Felix Vogt.
So
then we've got Oliver.
You can't have one time fault. So then you leave. So you lose. So but I think Tim Price has it made 2 times and Felix didn't. So perhaps it would be fair.
Dirk, you've been the most amazing stand-in, but I'm going to have to elbow you out now because Lucinda Green's here.
Okay,
and I'm
thank
sorry,
you very much.
But when Lucinda Green's here, I have to move Dirk out the way.
Thank you. Well done with your commentary.
Lucinda, you're such a top girl. But I did have Lucinda lined up, but we were supposed to have Oliver Townend, Chris Bartle and Dickie Waygate in between. But thank goodness you're early, and now here you are. Now,
They'll be right coming.
I have to make a confession, Lucinda, because I bigged you up massively yesterday and when we did this show last night. And somehow I had a brain aberration. I think because we are working quite long hours. Mark, the producer-director, gets us up at 6 a.m. and flogs us all day, and then we do this afterwards. And I accidentally said the horse you won the Worlds on 40 years ago was priceless.
Was it 40?
Yes, no, What do you mean? That's why you're
think
here.
I was that old. Good heavens.
You're still looking amazing, but I accidentally said priceless, and it was Bettina Hoy who corrected me and reminded me that
bless her.
obviously that's not even one of your horses. And I know, because I love you, and I love Ginny Holgate or Ginny Lang or Ginny Elliott. She is
Yeah.
now. So I'm sorry about getting that wrong, but Bettina Hoy corrected me because she was here 40 years ago as well.
She was. I know.
Yeah.
We're all old together, but Regal Realm was a very special Australian, and I'm very honoured to have had the ride on him.
But I can't believe it was 40 years ago. I mean,
No,
it
no,
obviously
me
doesn't
neither.
feel that long. But
No.
how has, I mean, this is a silly question really because we can see how it's changed. But how has Luhmühlen and the competition and just the eventing
Do you know
world
the
changed?
extraordinary thing about Luhmühlen is that it has changed in look because it's got all these modern arenas, but it's still got that same incredible feeling about it, and it's very hard to put it into words. Badminton has it, Burghley has it, Luhmühlen has it. It might be because I'm biased because I've been so lucky and got some fantastic awards at Luhmühlen, Badminton and Burghley, but there's something very special. It's a very different atmosphere to Burghley and Badminton, but it's very special, and I often sort of look out in the evenings and think this is just such a lovely atmosphere. We're very lucky to have it.
You won so much in your career, but where does that World Championship individual gold, where does that rank? I mean,
Yeah, it's a
be
good
honest,
question.
you know.
It's a good question. It was ridiculous, really, because this wonderful Regal Realm was the tail end of the Australian Olympic team in 1980, and I had a small amount of money. In those days it was a large amount. It was £10,000, and because this horse was reserved for the Australian team, he was for sale for 10,000 because they had to sell everything, and the others were for sale twice that. So I bought him, and he went lame instantly, and I'd spent all my money on him. Anyhow, he had one of the very first joint oil injections, which got him going, and in a very short time we found ourselves 2 years later at the World Championships, and he wasn't a dressage horse. He went along like this, and I did dressage in a jumping saddle to try and ease his back muscles, and he got a very, very good mark. And I have to say it was because I'd stayed with General Jack Burton that winter to be trained by their wonderful American trainer, and I'd gone in a snowdrift to the training, and I think he rather admired me for not giving up and gave me a good dressage mark. Then went brilliant across country, and then to my great good fortune, Helmut Reitemeyer had 2 fences down, so that gave Regal Realm the World Championships, but it was a million miles off my expectations, and therefore I suppose it was incredibly special for that reason.
I just love the fact it was £10,000. You wouldn't even get a decent pony club pony for £10,000 these days, would you?
Inflation.
But also how the sport has changed, hasn't it?
The sport has changed enormously, and we used to be jack of all trades. Really, we weren't really master of any, and I was lucky enough to just love cross country and understood that. Had a lot of good help and had a bit of a natural flair in it, and so I got ahead of the game because of the cross country, and that's why I love teaching it now, because I still feel it is the heartthrob of eventing, and it must be. It cannot be a sport that rests on the dressage and the show jumping for the results, because otherwise it's a rather second-rate edition of just those 2 sports. Cross country must remain the heartbeat, and I felt here Mike Etherington-Smith did a really good job. It's been made very difficult by the world we live in to actually make cross country have enough influence, because nobody wants to see anybody fall over. They don't mind seeing a rider fall off.
But we don't know. We don't want to see horses fall,
No.
or people have obviously nasty accidents. But it was a question I asked him yesterday on Luhmühlen Lakes yesterday. I said, how tough is it for you as a course designer to get the course right but keep people safe? And it's kind of an impossible task, isn't it?
It's a very, very difficult thing, because if you talk to the riders about cross country, they will tell you unequivocally that they want cross country to be the heartbeat. They will tell you that they want the challenge, and with challenge comes risk. You cannot help it. And what is our problem is that people say that horses don't have the choice. They have to do it because we tell them. Well, all I can tell you is I promise you horses have the choice. They don't want to do it, they just don't do it, and there's nothing we can do to make them. So we have to develop this trust and this love of the game in them, and if they don't love it, they find another job, because you have to have a partner who wants to go across country and loves the challenge, and they do.
Just finally, because Chris and Dickie have just turned up with 4 minutes to spare. Good work, boys. But just finally, though, how would you like to be doing it now? I mean, you know,
I'd be frightened to death to be
you're
doing it
pleased
now.
that you were doing the era you did.
I was very happy with the era we had. We had a very, very tough cross-country courses preceded by steeplechase, roads and tracks. So we really understood I think, how to ride a horse that was beginning to tire. And that's something that's missing from education these days, because everything's been shortened and lessened. Riders don't get the opportunity to practice bringing home a horse that is a little bit tired. And that, I think, is a problem, and it's proved to be.
Okay. Thank you, Lucinda.
Thank you for having me.
Much. It's just been great, and congratulations for 40 years ago and all the other amazing things you did.
Can you believe that, Dickie? 40 years ago I was here.
You still look amazing. Thank you so much. Come on in, Chris. Hello, Dickie. Do you know I had to interview Dirk, our German commentator, for 5 minutes while you two were having a coffee around the corner. Well, Chris and Dickie.
You did tell us to come back at 10 to 6.
Yeah, sorry, it's because we lost a couple of other riders in the meantime, so apologies. Because you are always incredibly punctual as an ex-military man. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and just get you two to talk mostly here. Can I start with Chris first of all, because you've got lots of riders here, not necessarily all the top riders, but you've got lots of riders, and you've been incredibly busy. How are you? What's your assessment of Luhmühlen so far for the Brits?
Well, for the Brits, yes, because obviously I've been coming to Luhmühlen for many years, and so I reckon that the 5-star here is for the horses a great introduction to the 5-star level. Obviously, we've got some experienced riders here who've been 5-star many times before. So it's a combination of those less experienced horses with experienced riders, and some less experienced riders who are stepping into the 5-star.
So how many have you got exactly? How many have you got here?
Oh gosh, I think it was 13 horses altogether.
So this, you literally like a military operation for you running this team here, I guess.
No, not really, because we actually have the same philosophy. It's about riders taking ownership, and at the end of the day, you know, when they canter out the start box, the only thing myself and Christopher can control are our own emotions. So it's down to the riders, training them to have a system that works for themselves. And at the end of the day, when things are going wrong, get back to the basics. So if you get the basics right, your system right, then it's down to the individual. And we very much, as coaches, don't try to take over and change what they're doing naturally. They've got here on their own merit.
Well, also, I guess, Chris, the difficult thing, and to a degree as well, you, Dickie, that they've all got their own coaches, and they're here under the GB banner, but they're actually all here all wearing their own colours, and they're probably, some of them even got their coaches with them. So you must have to be quite careful what you do.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
yeah, no, I wouldn't say careful, but certainly aware of the fact you've got to look at each combination and see what they have around them in the way of their own home team, as it were, and support their own home team, and add where we can, but step back also when we know that the system is working and they're confident with it. So, yeah, to a degree, it's observational as well, with a view to looking for long-term talent for the championships. This isn't a championship. This is a team for, or at least an individual competition, I put it that way. And therefore, I want to make sure that I, as a coach to the Team GB, look for the future talent, and at the same time support each individual with their own home team.
And of course we have a championship coming up. We have the World Championships this summer. How much is that on your mind this weekend?
It's always on your mind. Olympics, you can never get out of your head for the 4 years, before the games. That's always there. But each championship really important. Worlds this year, Pratoni. That for us is our first chance to qualify. So that's our objective: qualify, and then as simple as this, win as many medals as we possibly can.
And I know you're not selectors, you're not allowed to be selectors, but you're obviously influential. And I know you're not going to tell me who the team's going to be, of course, because you probably don't even know. But do you think that you have quite a strong idea who your people are going to be going to Pratoni?
I would say that we know well that we've got a strong squad.
Because you've got to choose who. I wouldn't want to choose
the decision in the end about which a team and which is the individual, and indeed before that, the selectors have to make a tough decision, given the strength and depth that we do have at the moment, about which 5 will actually represent us out in Pratoni. So I'm pleased to say it is a difficult decision for them, and clearly, I will make a contribution to the discussion in terms of putting forward my thoughts about each combination, the strengths and weaknesses, and anticipated outcomes, and so forth.
And
but
the track will make a
in the
difference,
end,
I guess.
the selectors must make that decision. And when we get there, of course, we have the opportunity to see the track and the final decision about which ride is a team and which is the individual will be made at that moment when it has to be made. Why make a decision until you have to?
We're running out of time, but I really just want to ask you two. You've both obviously had so much success as, the incredible success you had as a rider. Then obviously all the success with Germany. Dickie, before you even took over the dressage team and turned them into world-winning people, you obviously had an amazing military career. What makes you two so special as a combination? Because you are like magic, aren't you, together?
We were talking about this morning in the car, and I did a podcast the other day, and I said to Chris, I just listened to that, and basically we had the same conversation. First of all, we're not in each other's pockets, which is really healthy.
We live at opposite ends of the country.
Yeah, and we check and challenge each other all the time. And we absolutely have no problems with having really open conversations. And I think the combination of that, we don't let egos and vanities get in the way. But and also our philosophy is pretty much identical about that ownership of the athlete. Give the athlete ownership. They get confidence from that, the trust that we put in them, etc., etc. So those are probably the top nuggets, Chris, I think. And we had the same conversation. Over to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is exactly as you say, and we keep stealing ideas from each other, as it were, and pretending that they were our own, so that's the way it is. But I have to say, it's been a really good partnership with Dickie, and we'll carry on learning, because I'm sure we'll make more mistakes.
What's really lovely from me as someone in the media is that you're always so approachable, both of you, so approachable and so happy and friendly, and that makes such a difference. So long may that continue. I was going to ask you about the future. I'm thinking maybe you could come back tomorrow lunchtime, because we've got a show tomorrow lunchtime, and I'd love to talk to you two a bit more. So I'm just putting them on the spot. Hopefully you two will be back tomorrow lunchtime. But thank you for now. Good luck with all the show jumping and all the British riders. And we're going to say goodbye on Luhmühlen Lates. But just to tell you, of course, it's the Trot Up tomorrow morning. It will be streamed on Horse and Country. I don't know the time yet, because they didn't know the time when I went to see them at about 5 o'clock, but we think 8:30, which is 8:30 Central European time, so 7:30 UK time. So if you're watching from the UK, you have to get up pretty early, but then if you're a horse person, you do that anyway. So that's it from us. We're going to leave you with some amazing highlights, though, of the top 3 from today's 5-star cross country here at the Luhmühlen Horse Trials. From me and all our guests, thank you and goodbye.